There's a claim that floats around certain audio circles that states that if you tune down your instruments just a bit, your music will be more in tune with the universe. Today we're going to look at the mystique and magic behind 432 Hz tuning to see if there's any truth to it. Before we dive into this subject, we need a rudimentary understanding of the physics of sound. All around us, gravity is pulling tiny invisible particles, molecules, and gases downwards. This is what creates atmospheric pressure. Sound is made by quick periodic fluctuations in this pressure. Some sort of vibration will create a sound wave. This wave will raise the atmospheric pressure called compression, followed by a lowering of the atmospheric pressure called rarefaction. This happens extremely quickly, repeats over and over again, and our ear interprets this as sound. If we were to plot this out on a graph, we would have something like this. This axis telling us how much our pressure is being compressed or rarefacted, and this axis telling us over what period of time. From where the wave begins to where it repeats is one cycle. The frequency at which these waves repeat determines pitch. The number of cycles in a second is measured in hertz. The more a wave repeats itself in a second, the higher it will sound in pitch. For example, a note with a lower frequency would sound like this. A higher frequency like this. Easy enough, right? Grade 8 physics, all of which I needed to look up for this video. So when we're tuning our instruments, we need a standardized system that tells us which note rings out at which frequency. The current norm is that the A above middle C rings out at 440 Hz. And for the most part, every other note is tuned accordingly. In this day and age, it's easy enough to tune with A440 as our reference point. Everyone is a tuner on their phone, a digital tuner like this, or a tuning fork which, when struck, plays a reference note. However, before the advent of these technologies, tuning could vary drastically due to wear and tear on instruments or environmental factors, stretching and shrinking strings and other vibrating mechanisms. But there's a claim that tuning an A to 432 Hz and all the other pitches accordingly can create better results. To put this to the test, why don't we hear how this could sound on a couple of examples. First, I'll play a song in 440, then the exact same thing tuned to 432. Did you hear a difference? Remember which one you preferred? We'll refer back to this later. Proponents of tuning to 432 Hz believe that that tone is more consistent with the universe, that there are beneficial healing powers based on sacred geometry that will create warmth and balance. The idea is that 432 is a special number for a variety of reasons. Everything from the fact that it's the sum of a series of prime numbers to 432 being directly related to the universe's golden mean, as well as a number of other things, stuff like that. And if you're a skeptic like me, you're rolling your eyes, passing this off as new age homeopathic bullshit. And rightly so, because that's what it is. The reason being is not so much to do with the number 432, but more so with the unit of measurement. Remember, 432 Hz refers to 432 cycles per second. See, the 24-hour day is broken down into minutes and seconds for fairly arbitrary, imperfect, and imprecise reasons that have evolved over time. The likes of which I'm not going to get into today, but I'll link you to a great video on that subject. As far as we're concerned, the scientific definition of a second is, hang on a sec, the duration of 9,192,631,770 periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between the two hyperfine levels of the ground state of the cesium-133 atom. And to quote Jakub Marian, who wrote a fine article on this subject, "So yeah, the 432 Hz tuning, the divine tuning of nature itself, is ultimately defined as one vibration per 21,279,240.2083 periods of radiation of an uncommon chemical element. Very spiritual indeed." So is there any truth to the idea that tuning to 432 can provide any sort of benefit? I would say yes, to some degree that has nothing to do with that other nonsense. Tuning instruments down can help a singer avoid straining their voice, the very reason why many rock tunes are down half a step. Alternately, hearing something a little bit different than the norm can perk your ear up a bit. There can also be a bit of a placebo effect. If you believe it's going to sound better, then your brain can trick you into believing it. On that subject, I want to refer back to our experiment from earlier. Did you enjoy the songs more when they were tuned down to 432? Because here's the thing, I lied. In the first example, the higher tuning was 448 and the lower was 440. The second were 426 and 420. The third was 432, then 426, and the final one was 440 and 432. As far as I'm concerned, this myth seems busted, but if you have anything else to add, please leave a comment. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you really like what I do and you want to help in creating a sustainable future for this channel, please consider heading over to my Patreon page. I'm Samurai Guitarist, attempting to channel my inner Grant Imahara. I'll see you again next time.